Hi, my name is Ashley and I am from Houston, Texas. It is June the 8th, 2013, and it is about 11 a.m. I am an activist here in Houston, Texas. Well, I just became an activist in the beginning of 2013. Prior to that, I was solely a victim. The same organization I am trying to create awareness about, the high-tech transnational criminal organization, which I also refer to as domestic terrorists, have in their possession some type of energy weapon that they are using to remotely terrorize, torture, sexually exploit. More importantly, they are committing criminal acts of voyeurism in the city of Houston against myself and honestly others. Not only do they have the direct energy weapon that they are using, but they have a number of other advanced technologies that they are using to commit this criminal act, stalking, harassment, etc., etc. They have a device that allows them to, which I suspect the only way that they would be able to communicate in an environment that I am in is to have some advanced type of radio wave or radio frequency technology that allows them to communicate by latching on to radio waves. I need to get an agency to take me seriously, but more importantly, I need to do this because people don't believe that this crime is occurring, and honestly, we gotta become aware. We gotta change our policies here in this country. This is America, and you wouldn't think that slavery exists. You wouldn't think that I was the face of a slave, a cyber slave. You wouldn't think that other victims were cyber slaves, and though we all convey what we are going through differently, I want to stress that this crime is occurring in this country and nobody is doing anything about it. In my city, my police department is intimidated by these criminals. They have openly stated several times that they were scared themselves and that they had families or that they were going to retire. And since this organization seems to believe that they are Illuminati, the secret organization that is capable of affecting people's choices, decisions, careers, families, relationships, financial endeavors, business endeavors, being that they are able to attack people and stalk people remotely, and we don't know who they are, but they know who we are. This is a big deal. Not only do these people have the ability to listen in, eavesdrop in any environment, they also have this technology that has target locking capabilities, meaning that it has the ability to lock onto a heat signature of another human being, which more than likely means that somebody who was involved in developing the device that these criminals are using to torture and terrorize myself and others, more than likely at some point either contracted with the United States military or was a veteran. Now, I want to say, somebody asked me, another victim. I've met two more victims that live in the city of Houston, but unlike myself, they have never spoken up about what is going on. They have been remotely terrorized. They have been remotely tortured by this group of criminals, one for many, many years. Now, the thing about this crime is that it is happening in the wide open. It seems a little bit unbelievable, but it is very believable, and it could just as well happen to you. The most alarming thing is that these are not just a group of, cyber criminals that have banded together to enact this act of terror on certain individuals. This is a black market crime. These individuals come from a number of different backgrounds. Some of them have admitted to being affiliated with the hacker anonymous group, Anonymous. They have also said things that would lead me to believe that they are also affiliated with the LOL cats and 4chan groups, the imaging boards where people are able to post anonymously these things that they call memes, pictures. In addition to that, some of them have stated that they are gamers, others are businessmen. A lot of the people that spend their days talking to me, harassing me, happen to be either gang members or other individuals that are somehow logging on, and they are capable of viewing me in my environment. Now, one of the ways, in which they are able to view me and other victims is that they are using some high-powered, either infrared or ultrasound technology, or they could be using some type of device that is comparable to the free electron laser. The reason that I say that is the amount of time that they are able to torture me is 24 hours a day, endlessly. Every now and then they might slack off for an hour or so, but most days it is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When this first started and they first began harassing me, it was, several groups of people. Imagine you are at, we're not going to do imagine because you people already think this isn't happening, so I got to give you something more concrete. If you're ever watching something like Wheel of Fortune or something of that nature, one of those game shows, or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where the crowd, you have the person that's on the podium and they're trying to guess the answer and they choose, they can't figure it out, so they choose help from the crowd. And so the crowd starts shouting out, one after the other, A, B, C, in sync like that. I'm trying to give you that example to give you an idea of what these people are doing. Of course, they're not yelling out A, B, C, but they are yelling out obscene things. They're calling me names. They're talking about my family. They're threatening me. They're talking about my body. They're telling me how they're going to rape me, how they're going to kill me, how they're going to get away with this crime. Nobody's going to believe it, etc., etc. They're saying any and everything. These are human beings. These are not, this is not some figment of my imagination. I do not have schizophrenia. This is a crime. These people are terrorizing me. And the main reason that they began terrorizing me personally, well, I'm not going to go back into reasons. The reason I'm not going to go back into reasons, I had to stop myself in that moment, is because I get lost in reasons. I get lost in reasons because this is what they want me to do. They want me to start explaining and then appear like I am unstable because they start beaming that thing in my head, and then it sounds like I'm all confused, and I'm not a confused person at all. One of the other victims that I met here from Houston, we actually went out to dinner. It was our first time meeting. We met through one of the targeted individual sites. Anyway, when we went out to dinner, we were sitting there talking, and I really, honestly, I'm a little bit skeptical at times about people, so I have to make sure that people aren't dealing with delusional issues or schizophrenia. And I'm sure she wanted to make sure the same about me, that in fact, she is a victim of this crime. So how do you prove that this is going on? Now, when I say these people are talking to me remotely, I'm not saying that this is something that I am hallucinating about. They are talking to me out of their mouths, okay? That is attached to their head, that is attached to their neck. Where inside their neck, there is a voice box, which creates sound. Now, this sound goes into a device, like the device that I am using here today. I'm using a computer and a webcam to communicate with you. They are using either some type of computer, more than likely it's a computer. They're using a microphone. However, realistically, they are definitely more technologically advanced, so I'm sure their devices are way more advanced than my computer right here. But what I'm trying to state is they are indeed using some type of equipment to communicate remotely. This is not something that I'm making up or I'm dreaming up, but they are actually doing this. They are committing this crime in our country. But anyway, as I was saying, when we went out to dinner, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get a feel for her, one of the things that I asked her about, because the individuals that have been stalking me, there's numbers of groups, there's several groups of people. I can recall 50 familiar voices from the course, different people, by the way, from the course of, since it started, that come in interchangeably. Some will come in and say, oh, you're still doing this, and oh, I thought you'd be dead, and things like that. Others will come in and just, you can tell from the way that they're talking that they're just trying to check in and see, how things are with me in terms of, you're not dead yet, or we didn't run you crazy yet, or something like that. But anyway, as we're sitting there at the table, they weren't as loud, but I heard one of the black guys that have frequented, who have come in, messing with me periodically throughout the year, so I'm familiar with his voice. There's also this white guy, this professional white guy. I heard him, and I heard some younger, maybe white guys. They probably were from the Midwest, just given their accent. They were probably more than likely between the ages of 25 to 29, because they were kind of hip. And as I sit there, I asked her, I said, do you hear, these people here with me talking? Do you hear them talking in the background? And she said yes. And I said, what do they sound like? Describe them. And so she said, it's a black guy. I hear a white guy. I may hear like 2 more white guys in the background. Conversation. Ooh, that's all I needed. Now, what I'm trying to say is, all the crimes that these people are committing, they're going around here making people believe that they are the government, that this crime is being committed by different entities and things of that nature. When this first started with me in 2008, these individuals hacked my computer first, threatened me, and told me that if I told the police or I told anybody about them, they were going to ruin my life, ruin my family, there would be consequences, etc., etc. They definitely made good on that, but I still reported them to the police. The police laughed at me, and as a result of them not taking me seriously, this crime went from computer crime to torture, terrorism, and harassment 24 hours a day. Now, when they first started harassing me, talking from overhead, of course it was frightening, but they did a series of things before that. I'm not going to go into that in this video. I have to dedicate specific times to go through and explain in depth how they managed to do this, because they were very, very, very skilled in psychological torture and psychological warfare and brainwashing. This was not just a crime where they hacked my computer. They also prepared me, and I say prepared me because long before I knew of their presence, I was having these lucid dreams, very vivid dreams over and over again about just things. But anyway, when they came in, they said that they were the government. They said that, that they were the FBI. Some of them said that they were the CIA and they were part of the NSA. And, honestly, a logical person would believe just that. And I say that because who would have this kind of technology but our government? But I also want to say at that time I was very vulnerable and ignorant, and I was scared. But what we have to understand as American people is that our government wouldn't do this. Not this kind of thing, not here, I don't think. I know for a fact by the individuals who are torturing and terrorizing me, on admission, that they are that they are hackers, that they are street gangs turned cyber criminals, that they are gamers, that some of them may not even be affiliated with any type of criminal activity. This is some kind of anonymous, simulated group where these individuals come from so many diverse backgrounds. It's almost like a BBS or something of the sort. This is a crime for profit. So that means anybody could be involved, even though it sounds like it's some type of blue collar crime with violent criminals and come in saying these disgusting things and doing these disgusting things. But I'm going to tell you from firsthand experience that this is a white collar crime. The people that are committing this crime, you understand, the people they have talking to me are just the lower level, distraction, okay? Because they know with my big mouth that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say that a bunch of gang members, because this is what I can only speak my experience, that a bunch of gang members and a bunch of African American people have been raping and torturing me for the last 5 years and talking to me remotely using some technology. But what they're not going to say is that way before I was aware of what was going on, the individuals that were not speaking to me, the individuals that later start speaking to me, were trying to buy and sell me to other individuals. I recall this guy, he had a deep Southern accent. This was sometime in 2009 when they were just, terrorizing me every day. And one day I'm going to do a video where I'm going to be specific. I noticed one of the things that they have managed to do, and I hate to get off track, with victims is they do not allow us, and I say this is brain torture. This is a form of hypnotherapy that they use that inhibits the ability to be specific about the very details that are needed to not only validate what we're saying, but to also make people understand the kind of crime that these individuals are committing, the monstrous things that they are doing in America. But anyway, the reason that I know this, and I know I'm jumping all over the place, but trust me, I spent half of last night trying to do a video and every time I tried to do it, I screwed it up. So I had to delete them all. So I was like, oh God. Anyway, what I was about to say is that these criminals are violating not only every privacy law in this country, but they're also violating human rights. They are selling and profiting off of human beings. And as long as they can convince us that they are the government, that they are some government agencies, instead of what they really are, a criminal enterprise that profits off of the sale of human beings, they're going to continue getting away with this crime and making the victims look crazy. I will be a victim no more. I will not sit here like I sat here from 2008 to 2012 alone while these individuals torture and terrorize me endlessly, while I sit there scared and afraid to contact anybody because nobody wanted to hear me out and nobody wanted to listen, while they did these things, these unspeakable things with this weapon. You understand? Rape every day, all day. And what you don't understand is that these individuals have no conscience. They are committing a crime that allows them to disconnect themselves from the reality of what they are doing just because they are not holding me down, just because they are not stabbing me with a knife does not mean that this is not occurring. This is the crime of the future happening now. These individuals have this device that is capable of running 24 hours a day, that is capable of non-lethally penetrating any area of the human body. What do you think a bunch of criminals would do when they are capable of not being seen to a woman, to a child, to another human being? What would they do when they know that their faces are anonymous? What would they do? Now you sit here and you think about all of the evils that you have ever heard about on television or read about in a book or seen on the news, and you combine the things that those individuals do, and you imagine for a second that you are me. You imagine how your virtue is stolen, how you are broken down, how you have no privacy, and then you imagine running for help and then having nobody listen, and you just have to suffer in America, in this country, while everybody says you're crazy, while everybody says you're schizophrenic, while these people take your life and they sell your life and they isolate you, because if you're by yourself, then who's gonna be there to validate what's going on? But I also want to say that these people have also managed to intimidate others. They're not discreetly committing this crime anymore. They are intimidating any and everybody in any environment. Now, I go to work, I have a job. I won't tell you what I do just yet. But anyway, when I go there, and I'm sure until you guys catch them, nobody will confirm this out loud. But while I am there working, these individuals are talking. They're loud. They are, just obscene. And although people acknowledge them without acknowledging them, because I have acknowledged them. I said, listen, this is going on and we need to do something about it. But they have families, they have children, and they know, because I have been open about what has happened to me. They know what these individuals have did to me and my family, my life. They know how I come into work with my face burned, with initials on my face structure changed. They know when I come into work with, alphabets burned into my face, gang symbols. They know how these individuals are committing this crime in the wide open, and they are scared. Anyway, I didn't expect this video to go this long. I was hoping to end it at 15 minutes, but I want to just state that I'm going to keep doing videos. I'm going to keep talking about this crime. I am going to keep writing letters to any and everybody that will listen, and somebody's going to do something. I have not gotten a chance to enjoy my life, and I am not going to die knowing that there are a group of terrorists that have done to me, and I'm talking about with this weapon, they have done anything that you can imagine to my body. I'm not going to stand here and allow them in secret commit the type of crimes that they are committing without fighting with every fiber of my being to make you pay attention, to make the government pay attention, so that another woman does not have to endure what I have had to endure, so that another young girl will not be raped and tortured and her life thrown away because she doesn't feel what they are doing is right. So another family does not have to be ruined by these criminals that feel like they have the right to affect anything other than themselves. So thank you for your time, and I ask that you keep me in your prayers if you can. Forward this to an agency that can do something about this kind of crime. When we start talking about it and creating awareness about it and letting policymakers know that this is a problem in our country, and that as long as these criminals are left out here to commit these crimes, we will not have any privacy, we will not have any safety in our homes. Our children are, at risk of being raped and tortured. These people are capable of hacking our computers undetected. As long as we pretend like this is not occurring, we can all become victims at any point in time. Thank you. Have a good